Hey, podcast listeners, welcome to another episode of the Advice First podcast. On today's episode, we interview Fred Wachtel with Prosperitas Financial, yet again with his good friend, Rael Andrews. Now, Rael is a phenomenal individual. He focuses on the alignment between mental, physical, and financial health. So having Fred in the room was awesome. This podcast was hilarious. It might be my favorite episode to date. I really hope you enjoy. Welcome to the Advice First podcast. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom! And if you do not know that, you do not know a man named Rael Andrews. Rael, excited to have you here on the Advice First podcast, and also joining us is Fred Wachtel, financial advisor with Prosperitas Financial. Fred and Rael are good friends, and Fred was kind enough to get Rael in the studio today. Rael, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. Yeah.
I'm excited to have you. I got that little snippet from listening to a handful of episodes of Rael's own podcast. And man, I mean, motivation is such an over talked about thing, but I think what's really unique about the message that you share and really why I'm excited to have you on the podcast today is there's so much real life behind what you're saying. And I mean that as a point of experience. And then also it's almost like, and I've learned this from hosting our own podcast, is it's almost self-talk at some point and helping to bring people to the right mindset in all things about their life. And so what I'm really excited to tap into today with you is not just around, being optimistic, being positive, those things. You care about health, right? And whether that's physical health, mental health. I know one of your things that I'm hoping we get to dive into, because I don't know enough about. I'm plant-based, but I still do not understand all the facets of gut health, which I understand you're an expert in. Is that correct?
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, then we got the right guy in the studio. Fred, what do you know about gut health?
He knows how to make his gut bigger.
And it looks pretty healthy, so that's my experience with gut health.
That's awesome.
I love it. I love it.
I love, though, what you said there, because I don't know if you picked that up, but I love how you said motivation is overrated, because I always had an aspiration to be a motivational speaker, right? But I don't like that anymore. I see myself as an action coach, because anybody can get anybody motivated. You listen to one of my podcasts or whatever, and you're all fired. I've been to Tony Robbins, right? You jumping on the screen, but you're all fired up to go for a run, and you go outside, it's raining, and all of a sudden you stop. Yep. So I love that you pointed it out, because I think that's really important. It is overrated, and it's about not just getting people motivated, it's getting them to take action.
Yes. Action is the key. Mm-hmm. So what made you so passionate about something like gut health? Mm-hmm. Is just a question that I'm curious to know, because you are such a positive guy. You're a coach. You're a fitness enthusiast and expert and coach in that world. And so, but to also have, so many ties to something as specific as gut health, what created that passion for you?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it happened by accident. I've been a fitness expert for going on 43 years now, but I want to say for the past 41 and a half, I always led with what I call physical health. Let me help you get that six pack. Let me help you get in your little black dress. And then recently, somebody came to me and they said, hey, I got involved with this thing. Would you like to take a look at it and everything? And I was like, well, I'll take a look at it just out of respect for you. And within 10 seconds of watching this video, I was in, and it was like about mental wellness and mental awareness, and they were talking about this gut-brain axis and all of that. So I started to dig in and study it, and what I found is that we have a brain between our ears. Hopefully, some people we may question.
Looks at me.
We may question that, but we now know, and science knows this is not new. But your gut is your second brain, and your heart is actually your third brain. And a lot of these things, dopamine and epinephrine and all that we think is here actually starts here in the microbiome. So you get your gut health right, then you get your mind right, and you get your mind right. So a lot of in training people over the past 42 years, I've always been able to help people get success. And then they plateau, or they fall off, or they cheat, or whatever, because what happened is it was external. They didn't get the mind right, and the mind gets right from the gut. So when you get the mind right, you're able to think bigger, believe bigger, stretch bigger, make better decisions, and for me personally also, I'm challenged with, bipolar manic too. So gut health has a big thing to do with depression, anxiety, stress, autism, ADD, ADHD. Those are all related things in the gut. So when I started to dig into that, because it's something obviously I'm very passionate about, I'm going through that with my daughter right now, sorry.
Yeah.
But so it's important when we get the gut stuff healthy, And what I just realized this morning, which was cool, like I say, I'm bipolar manic too, and I actually been on medication. Yeah. But I got up to go to work today, and it wasn't a choice. But my last prescription that I got is completely full. I haven't taken one in almost 3 months, and I'm in the field the best I've ever had, more focused, because I got I'm not against doctors, because doctors have their place, but I'm just saying, when you get your gut, you can have an option, a holistic, natural, plant-based solutions. So that's why I'm so passionate about it.
Wow. I absolutely love that. Because there's so many things. You said when this started, it was a friend saying, hey, I'm part of this, check this out. We get that all the time. Mm-hmm. And so, how long did it take for you to discover how meaningful the gut health aspects were?
It happened really, because obviously I'm really in tune with my body. So when I started putting in these products and changing and correcting my microbiome, I actually saw a result. I want to say within 7 days, I started feeling a difference. Now, it's different for everybody, depending on your journey. But like I say, it is what we call phase benefit effect. So you really start to see a month, 2 months, 3 months. That's when you'll really, like Fred has some of my products, but he doesn't understand the concept that you actually got to put them in your mouth for them to be effective. He's got them on the shelf, so that's a start. So once we get it in the body, we can get to feel a little bit. So, it's all good.
Actually, my wife made me move the boxes because she got tired of looking at them. So. But I'm going to take them soon.
This recording is going to be used against you when you file for the satisfaction guarantee, right, Fred?
Yes. Everything's used against me.
Oh, my goodness. My goodness. So what's it mean? What does it take to have a healthy gut?
Well, it's, it's getting the microbiome healthy. Right. And I'm not the scientist, so I'm blessed that I have Dr. Talbot, who is the brains behind that and all that kind of stuff. So just keeping it real, full disclosure. So I'm a trainer who, I like to say, I'm a results guy, I'm a facts guy, and so I see the results with my different clients. But I do know it's focused on the microbiome, getting the microbiome healthy. We have basically fundamentals, which is 3 products. You got your your Mentabiotics, which is your microbiome. You got your Mentafocus, which is the brain, and then the Mentasync. Now that's the key. There's a lot of products out there that are great for the brain. There's a lot of products out there that are great for the gut. but we're the only company that does the gut-brain axis. Think of it like the 5 freeway.
Right.
So, I actually did a video on this, right, a podcast. So when the 5 freeway is doing this, that's awesome, right? When you're going to work, there's no traffic, but when it gets blocked up or something, that's not cool.
Yeah.
And that's what most they getting this right or this right, the head or the gut, but it's not connected. You're not running on all 12 cylinders. And that's really it in a nutshell, per se.
Yeah, absolutely. And feel free, I think you can provide a lot of value helping our listeners understand what company and are you talking about here?
Yeah, I'm with Amari Global.
Amari Global.
And you can go to workwithcoach.com, www.workwithcoach.com.
Yep.
And I'm happy to, give a complimentary call, no pressure, whatever. I love to meet people, answer any questions, give you some advice. The best thing I always tell people, hey, the best thing you'll just leave with some great nuggets to take into action. But it's an amazing company, and we're the first of its kind.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's phenomenal. And are there anything outside of, I'm guessing this goes down like the probiotic route, correct? Yeah. Are there any, what kind of foods can someone eat without probiotics that can still give their gut kind of the right nutrients and the right things to process?
Yeah, I love meat.
Yeah.
But I'm more and more becoming plant-based.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say, any vegetables that are greens, grains, all like holistic, natural foods. I mean, because we do something called a 3-day reboot, and it's our version of a cleanse, but it's nothing crazy. You're not starving, you're not eating, you actually eat. You're basically a vegan for 3 days. No dairy, no sweets, no sugar, no alcohol, no.
Fred's out.
Yeah, he's out. Right? No, I know, right? I think that was
Fred's like, wait, I'm not supposed to eat those, or I am, because I'm either crushing it.
I could start adding some cream spinach to my diet.
I'll tell you a funny story. When I first met Fred, and we've been together for a while, and I was helping him out, he said to me, hey, if I got to stop drinking my alcohol, it's not happening. I'm not giving up my alcohol. So I had to, but what I do notice every time I do a reboot, it's like, and I go back, because, I have those, I've been 57, I've been eating meat so, I kind of, but man, boy, I feel the difference.
You're not 57.
Yeah, 58 in January.
If you're listening to this, you have to go on YouTube and find this episode. You're going to see a picture of Rael in this video, and you're not going to believe this man's 57. He's the most jacked one in this room.
No, Fred has bigger traps than me.
No, I'm working on him, though. Working on him.
This is awesome. That's incredible. Good
I look
for
like
you.
this guy just under the gut. All the muscles are under the gut.
We call that it's in the fridge. We just got to get it out. In the fridge. For some of us, it might be in the freezer, but I'm like, it's there. As we get older, we got to work harder. It sucks. It sucks, dude.
Exactly.
But hey, it's all good.
Yeah, because when you're younger, that's when you have all the energy. You're just too distracted to actually do anything with it.
Yeah, and in all seriousness, what I'm learning is. The body's a miracle. Let's put it this way. The body's a miracle, and when you fuel it with great nutrition, amazing things can happen. Like, I see amazing results with my clients, Crohn's disease, autism, ADD, anxiety, stress, all those kind of things. But I always want to tell people, it's not a magic pill, dude. It's not, dude. It's just good nutrition. When you put good nutrition, the body's a miracle, man. It's amazing. But, mostly, think of it like this. Your body is a NASCAR, right? These NASCAR drivers, they ain't stopping at Chevron or putting that junk fuel in there, dude. They got high-octane fuel. We put all kind of crap in our body, and then we expect it to perform. And it will, because it's amazing. But it doesn't mean it's performing at its utmost. So what you're learning is that, and it sucks, to be honest with you. And I have my moments. I was having my moment driving around because, I like my hot tamale candies. I like my Cadbury thick chocolate bar with nuts and raisins. I have those things. But what I do realize, because I'm on a mission now to really go to a whole nother level in my health, Unfortunately, dude, those little things really make a difference. You know, those little, well, can I have a little of this or a little of that? Well, you can, but it depends at what level do you want to perform at. Or, you know, and then when we, at Amari Global, we are the mental wellness company, but we're not the mental illness company. We just want people to perform at their optimal. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, absolutely. So does someone who has a six-pack or is clearly in the right, physical shape, if you see someone, they're cut up, does that mean that they likely have a healthy gut?
Hell no. Absolutely not.
Interesting.
Absolutely not.
So,
and it could almost be the furthest from the truth. Because realistically, seriously, honestly, we all have them. Like, I'm sure we all have those friends, right, dude? They can eat freaking pizza and beer and whatever, and they're like jacked like Marky Mark, right?
Right.
Doesn't matter
like
what
Fred.
they do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But for general, for the average person to get those kind of results, you're not doing healthy things to get there. It's like when you get to that kind of craziness, ripness, you cannot healthily stay there. So, and it's interesting because, I was with another company that, when we'd go to a corporate event, it was like the Ken and Barbie show. You know what I'm saying? Just beautiful people everywhere. Like, for real. I remember the first day me and my wife, went there, we were intimidated. Like, wow, these people are. Wow. But when you go to like a Amari corporate event, there's no before and after pictures. There's none of that, dude. Because that doesn't mean you're healthy. What means you're healthy if you're mentally fit. And we like to say mental fitness is the new physical fitness. Because nothing else. And I'll be honest with you, am I like jacked like I was 4 or 5 years ago? No. But do I feel better than I've ever felt? 100%.
Wow.
It's a complete different. I mean, dude, I was on a destructive path of drugs and alcohol abuse, from depression, anxiety. I had to, because my body was so, fueled with the wrong things, right? And now I'm a complete opposite,
Yep. And so this takes me back to kind of what we opened with around motivation. Motivation usually being an external factor, this being internal. It's the same with I think being physically fit. Like, we all want that perfect body, be in that perfect shape, and for so many of us, we feel like we'll be happy or we'll be positive, we'll be confident when we finally reach that physical asset. But it's the same concept. That's judging yourself and allowing your mental health to live on your external features as opposed to the opposite.
Well, 100%. I mean, look at what you guys do with finances, right? Just because the person has $1 billion, are they happy? Not all, and most of the time not, right? Some are, but if they're not got their mental state right, they're never going to be happy. It's like so true with the physical side of it too, right? It's like when I used to train people like that, at least I was smart enough to tell people, I'd be like, because they'd always bring me pictures. I want to look like this person. And I'd be like, don't do that. Because you're never going to be that person. So you'll never be. Say, I want to be the best version of myself. I want to be the strongest I can be. I want to have the biggest traps that I can have. Not like I want to have Rail's traps or I want to have Fred's traps.
Right.
Because I'm never going to have Fred's traps. Right? You know what I'm saying?
And I'm never going to have Rail's traps.
But that's good. That's so good what you just said.
Yeah.
It's real.
Absolutely. And how have you, you mentioned the financial aspect, and I know you have a Finance Friday on your podcast, so obviously that's something else that you care about, and I'm sure I feel like it relates to this entire discussion of mental health and physical health. But have you found any connection, maybe just in your own experience or some of your clients that you're coaching, have you found any connection to, aligning the gut health, which gets the mental health, which starts to get the physical attributes, and then, oh, hey, look, the financial stress is gone or something, there's been different financial outcomes. Have you witnessed any ties to that?
100%.
Wow.
Yeah, because when you get mentally fit, right, you get the gut health, right? Which will get you mentally fit, right? Then what happens is you, like, and at Amari, we actually say that we are Amari. Amari stands for love, for the Greek, right? Mm-hmm. So in our things, we need to teach ourselves to love ourselves first, and then we can help others to love each other. And if you think about where we are right now in the world, dude, I mean, we need that more. I play every morning when I go up the stairs, what the world needs now. Because it is really true. So what happens is when you love yourself more, you want to give back more. You want to make a difference more. You want to change life. So now your motivation for money is different. And when your motivation for money is about making a difference and changing lives, you know, I'm a believer, so I'll give you a biblical quote. It's biblical. You help people to have what they want, and you will have, in capital letters, everything that you need. Mm-hmm. And that's the difference right there. Because, you know, when it was about me, and dude, I was the biggest narcissist ever. Ask my wife, she'll, you're a narcissist, you know, working, but it was me, I. Yeah. But now it's about my team. It's about others. It's about changing other people's lives. And it's crazy what the universe brings you and stuff that happens. And it takes the stress off you. It takes the anxiety and all that, right? Because you're not putting those kind of demands on yourself.
Yeah, I love that. Fred, that tees me up a question for you, because I see you at you know, from the opposite end of the channel per se. You're working with clients on their finances. But you're a financial advisor, not a health expert, even mental health expert. But have you seen any synergies between clients who are, you know, at specific financial calibers that either put a focus or emphasis on other people versus themselves, or stick to a specific health regimen?
You know, with my clients, we have all different clients from all different aspects. Some have a lot of money, some don't have a lot, but they're working on it. And, you know, from a health standpoint, I find that, and even though people with a lot of money still have the same, you know, hopes, dreams, fears, they just have more money to do it. A lot of them that don't really have that much and they're working on it, they do have a lot of mental aspects about how am I going to do this, or what is 20 years going to look like for me, or I was planning on retiring in 5 years and I just don't have enough money to create any of the dreams I've wanted. Mm-hmm. And you can see that there's stress levels there. Mm-hmm. And the same, you know, again, people with a lot of money, there is some relief in a sense that, you know, if they did lose their job, maybe you downsize a little bit, they have plenty of money to get by, but that's not what they want to do. They want their money to last like everybody else, and they might, you know, some people don't care about this, but, you know, we all have our problems, but they might have a bigger house, which means a bigger mortgage. They might have a nicer car, which means a bigger car payment. And, you know, if they lose their job or if something happens to their income, they can fall apart just like everybody else. So that mental aspect in what I do, there's a lot of it. And when the markets get crazy, that is when I become Fred the psychologist versus Fred the financial advisor. And again, it doesn't matter how much money, the stress levels are there for everybody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, Rael, I don't know your viewpoint on this, but I'm sure you've witnessed it at some point. I firmly believe stress, any external stress, will cause the health to deteriorate. Big time.
There's all kind of facts and stuff that, yeah, stress can, you know, it's like, and I don't know, I've had people say that to me, you know, in different ways, like even with my prostate cancer that I had, that because of all this, I had a lot of stress and stuff going on at that point in life, that you can actually make yourself sick. And I think I did a podcast on that. I just remembered once. But you can actually literally make yourself sick with toxic thoughts and stress. I mean, stress is insane, dude. I mean, it's powerful to, anxiety. And it's like, I mean, man, I used to have panic attacks, and it's like, the brain is so powerful, and if you let it go down those roads, and I think it's all comes around to nutrition and just like I like what Fred said, dude. It's like there's always going to be an up and down. One of the things I notice about Fred, just watching him from afar, he's like an even keel. Right, even when this whole stuff started happening with the pandemic, I'd sit there in our group every week and watch him, and and if you look at, from what I understand with his clients and stuff like that, they're not hurting, because he thinks like that, and the thought path is so powerful. I'm a massive advocate. Like with my team, they're not allowed to, they can say not allowed, but they'll do burpees. Hope, maybe, try, think, the C words, not that C, the C word, C-A-N-T. They're not allowed to say anything. I make them do burpees, because that's, those words, you're speaking death over yourself, in my opinion, rather than, as a matter of fact, I just created this. I challenge people to do this. You go to www.championtimecapsule.com. I created this. Okay. You go there, you write out where you see yourself in a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years. And I have it set up that a year from now, whenever you put it in there, I'm going to re-email you back what you wrote. And in 5 years, what you wrote. And in 10 years, and see if you speak it. I've seen it in my life. If you speak it over yourself and write it out and put it out and manifest it, it will happen, dude.
Yes. I love that. Hit me with the website one more time.
championtimecapsule.com. Yeah.
Man. And if you go there, you are one of Real's champions.
That's it.
That's the whole thing. That is the whole thing. If you listen to his podcast, you'll get it. I highly, highly, highly suggest you do. You will finish that episode in a better mood than when you started, and already picking up your nugget for the day. So going back to the stress, the one thought I was thinking through was someone who has a strong gut health. Does that give us the internal support to deal better with outside stress factors?
100 million %.
So essentially it's like a network, basically. Mm-hmm. And I think off air you discussed it as your prongs, right? So what are your prongs?
3 prongs are, mental health, physical health, financial health. And it comes from the gut. So the mental health comes from the gut brain access, get the brain healthy, and then you will be able to breathe, like I said, think bigger, dream bigger, make smarter decisions when the mind's right. You'll be able to let me push you harder, stuff like that. Then you can have that physical health, and then you'll be able to walk into your financial health, which is, that's why I do a physically fit, financially fit Friday.
Yep.
And I was one of them, you know what I mean? Because I'm an entrepreneur, I'm passionate, and I used to say I laugh now when I say it, but I was serious as a heart attack. I ain't doing this for the money. I'm doing it because I'm passionate about it. Right? Well, that's a crock of shit. Right? Yeah. Dude, I mean, for real, right? Absolutely. I mean, people who say that, and I was one of them. Because finances are important, right? And if you really want to change the world, like back in the day, to be an entrepreneur meant to be a 7-figure income earner, right? But that's not an entrepreneur. You got to be at least an 8-figure income earner, because you need 7, especially in Valencia, you need 7 figures just to take care of yourself.
Yes.
If you want to change the world and make a difference and be able to write a check for something you care about without thinking about it, you got to be talking 8-figure.
Yep.
So, just call it what it is. If you really, don't be afraid. People, do you find this, Fred? I find it in the work that I do. For some reason, people are afraid to talk about money in a way that they want to make money, or they deserve to make money, or they deserve to have money. It's the craziest thing.
Yeah.
All right? Like they don't think they're worthy of it, or they don't, and
Well, some people.
some people.
Some people don't think they get enough money.
Yeah.
Or that money's evil because they don't have it. And
Correct.
so,
And money's not evil.
right.
It's, and I'll never forget this. A friend of mine said this. He wasn't specifically talking about money, but it's the same thing. He said to me, he said, Rael, he said, you have a gift. He said, you can do good with it or you can do bad with it. It's your choice. So money's not evil. It's what you do with it. What are you going to do with that money when Fred makes me all that money extra, right? What am I going to do with it? Because
Good things.
good things, right? But it's a choice. It's a choice.
Yep.
Right? You can be Scrooge and have those 4 ghosts come visit you and figure that out later, or you can figure it out on the front end and not have the ghost come. I'd rather figure it out without the ghost.
Enjoy your Christmas, right?
And if you don't know the right way to go, call Fred.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
That's awesome. Well, I don't want to keep you over on time. I know you got a function after this, but Rael, it's been fantastic having you in the studio. I hope that we get a part 2 at some point because I know that you have so much to share, so many insights, and of course the positivity. It's been really fun having you on the podcast.
Thank you. I definitely will, and I'm going to have you on mine. And if I could, www.raelandrews.com. That's my mothership.
Yep.
So you can find all the stuff we talked about there, one stop, and just on Instagram and Twitter at Rael Andrews. Just
Fantastic.
follow me. I appreciate it.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you being on the Advice First podcast, and have a great day.
All right. Thank
Thanks for
you.
coming, bud.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Next Financial Group, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Prosperitas Financial is not an affiliate of Next Financial Group, Inc. This material is not intended as an offer or solicitation for the purchase of sale of any security or other financial instrument. Past performance does not guarantee future performance. All the views expressed are those of Robert Clark and Prosperitas Financial and not of those of Next Financial Group, Inc. Next does not offer tax or legal advice. The S&P 500 is a market cap weighted index composed of common stocks of 500 leading companies in the leading industries of the U.S. economy. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is a price weighted index of 30 actively traded blue chip stocks.